Alright. Trying to put the zits away. Oh, I don't know, I have something here to sign.
But you don't want to have those on the dais, though,
No.
on your Coke. That was nicely said, Rudy. Comments were nicely woven and said.
I have 8 o'clock.
Okay, here, pass these over to Nancy. Okay. The Tuesday, December 6th, 2022, 8 p.m. business meeting of the Wyckoff Township Committee is now in session. If everyone will rise, we'll have a flag salute. I will lead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing while I give a brief invocation. Father in heaven, we thank you for bringing us together this evening and watching over us. We ask that you give us wisdom in the deliberations we make tonight and the decisions we make, and take us all home safely. In your name, amen.
Amen.
This regular business meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Wyckoff is now in session. In accordance with Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, I wish to advise that notice of this meeting has been posted on the bulletin board of Memorial Town Hall and on our Township Committee website page. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk, and copies were emailed to the Ridgewood News, the Record, and to the North Jersey Herald News, all newspapers with general circulation throughout the Township of Wyckoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers. Take a roll call. Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Mr. Melchior is absent. Mr. Shanley?
Here.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Here. Okay, I'll take a motion to open the meeting for public comment. 5 minutes per speaker for public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of Wyckoff.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, the meeting is open for public comment. If you are here and wish to make a comment, step forward to the microphone. Or if you are not here, please call 201-891-7000, extension 2220, if you wish to make a comment. If you're here, just state your name and address, please. How are you?
Good
to see you
evening.
again.
Great to see you all again.
Same here.
My name is Elaine Alvarez, and I live in 156 Langlitz Road, Westtown, New York. However, I was raised in Franklin Lakes, graduated from Rampo High School, and have immediate family who own and operate business and property in the town of Wyckoff. At the previous Township Committee meeting, a very knowledgeable and experienced nurse practitioner and retired alcohol and drug counselor expressed her concerns about cannabis. To summarize her concerns, she stated that many of the young people with whom she worked with as a counselor started with cannabis and moved on to harder drugs like heroin. One's driving ability is impacted by cannabis use and leads to a lot of driving violations, and young people and cannabis do not mix. Overall, she does not support a drug that many people have gotten in trouble with and thinks if cannabis is to be sold to the public, it should be done so in a pharmacy or similar setting. I know these are common concerns and would therefore like to address them. According to the article, Probability and Predictors of the Cannabis Gateway Effect, a national study, published in the International Journal of Drug Policy, the gateway, Quote, the gateway hypothesis holds that substance use progresses in sequential stages beginning with alcohol and tobacco use, followed by cannabis use, and later the use of other illicit drugs. End quote. According to this theory, individuals rarely use harder drugs, such as cocaine and heroin, without first using quote-unquote gateway substances, such as legal drugs or cannabis. Gateway substances such as legal drugs or cannabis. Prior research has indicated that increased risk of progression to other illicit drug use is associated with genetic predisposition, higher frequency of cannabis use, and early onset of cannabis use. Study findings do suggest that a large portion, but not all, of people who use cannabis do go on to use other illicit drugs. Though the reason for this progression is not entirely known, some factors have been identified. For example, individuals who use cannabis are often more exposed to opportunities to use other illicit drugs because the distribution channel and environment for other illegal drugs and cannabis frequently overlap. Substance abuse disorder is a complex issue, and oftentimes there is more than one factor at play. I do not disagree that cannabis may play a hand in some individuals' progression to harder drugs. However, I do not agree that the public should be deprived of a medicine because it can be a gateway drug for others. I believe the best way to tackle the issue is to teach people at a young age the negative side effects cannabis has on the brain and body. I remember police officers in the DARE program falsely claiming that I can get addicted to cannabis and get cancer and die. I do not recall being taught that it can have a negative impact on my brain while it's still developing, or that if I was predisposed to certain mental illnesses like schizophrenia, it may increase my chances of psychosis. Unfortunately, the old DARE program did not succeed due to its flawed curriculum, political motivations, and war on drugs hysteria. However, I think knowing what we know now, a revamped drug safety course will benefit school districts and can be funded with the money made from the cannabis transfer tax if imposed. As for the concern regarding increased traffic violations with cannabis use, many studies have looked into the effect cannabis has on individuals' driving ability. It was found that while cannabis increases reaction time and has a negative impact on cognitive processes that are considered to be integral to safe driving, individuals under the influence of cannabis tend to overestimate their impairment and consequently employ compensatory strategies. These strategies include reducing speed, increasing following distance, and passing less. In addition, more experienced cannabis consumers experience minimal to no functional impairment under the influence of cannabis, likely due to tolerance, except when combined with alcohol. Comparatively, alcohol has the opposite effect. Individuals who consume alcohol underestimate their impairment and drive faster, more reckless, and attempt to overtake more. That is why roughly 25% of fatal car accidents involve alcohol. Epidemiological studies regarding whether cannabis use causes an increased risk of car accidents have been inconclusive, whereas the relationship between alcohol consumption and car accidents have been unequivocal and consistent. And last but not least, of course cannabis and young people do not mix well. That is why, unlike liquor stores, underage people are not even allowed to enter a business where cannabis is being sold due to its strict regulations. New Jersey strongly encourages alternative treatment centers to employ security guards to prevent underage people from entering the business. On average, an individual's photo ID is checked at least twice in an alternative treatment center, once at the door and a second time during checkout. Comparatively, individuals are only asked to produce their photo ID during checkout in liquor stores. This is because although some states have legalized cannabis, it is still a Schedule I drug that is federally illegal. This is why pharmacies are unable to sell cannabis products in their stores. It requires a unique license with even stricter regulations. To summarize my public comment, cannabis is more likely to be a gateway drug if individuals start earlier in life and use more frequently. Epidemiological studies have been unable to draw a clear correlation between cannabis consumption and increased risk of accidents. And cannabis does not mix well with young people and never will, which is why there are strict regulations regarding who can purchase cannabis, let alone step foot in an alternative treatment center. Thank you all for giving me your time and attention today.
Thank
Have a
you
good
for
one.
reading that to us. I just want to make it clear that while I allowed you to continue with your rebuttal, if you will, of what the resident said at the last meeting, that in no way constitutes an acquiescence on the part of the township of agreement with anything that you've just stated. I appreciate
I understand.
you doing the research and
Yep.
bringing it to us, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to comment?
I appreciate the information that you read, and I just read something the other day. It may have been in the Suburban or Bergen Record, and it stated that in Colorado they have been doing studies on, because they have an open
Right.
door policy on cannabis. And there is a 5-time increase in accidents with using cannabis. When somebody has been stopped, they ascertain whether it's cannabis or whether it's alcohol. There is a 5-time increase in the number of accidents with people using cannabis than there was before in the records. So I just will add that tonight, and I'm sure there'll be other opportunities to talk about this issue later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you
My
for your
name is
comments.
Janet Toomey, I'm sorry,
Okay.
501A Aspen Lane in Wyckoff. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Anyone else?
Seeing and hearing no one else, I move to close public comment.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the November 14th, 2022 Township Committee Work Session and regular business meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay,
Moving
to the
on
consent agenda.
To the consent agenda. All matters listed below are considered by the Township Committee to be routine in nature. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If any discussion is desired by the Township Committee, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. 274, reduction of 2021 tax levy due to tax appeal judgments. 275, authorization of vouchers and payment of bills. 276, return of certain overpaid taxes, fees, etc. 277, transfer of funds. 278, endorse Christian Health's Bergen County Community Development Grant for antimicrobial flooring. 279, tax assessor authorized to file assessor's tax appeals, answers, counterclaims, appeals, and cross appeals. 280, authorizing an agreement. 281, authorizing contract for the collection of outstanding municipal court debts. And 282, shared service with the Wolf Group for sharing of vehicles and equipment. We have an ordinance for introduction tonight, ordinance number 1972, which is an ordinance to provide for and determine the rate of compensation for employees of the Public Works Department of the Township of Wyckoff and the method of payment of such compensation for the year 2023. We have no motions. So may I have a motion and a second to approve this consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Boonstra?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Thank you. There are no ordinances for public hearing or further consideration, so I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra?
Yes,
With an
we're
affirmative
adjourned.
vote, the motion is approved.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Very good.
Enjoy your pre-holiday season.
On that last resolution, in the title be authorizing, not authorized,
The final one?
final one, yeah.